Okay, we're going to install FreeBSD in a virtual box. Got it set up in my virtual box, 6 gigabytes of RAM, 2 cores of my processor, turn the video memory all the way up, and we're going to use the standard default VM-SVGA video driver, and I give it a 62 gig hard drive. We're going to set up the base here, and then once you get the base installed, then it's up to you to install your desktop. There your option was, I hit enter. We'll run a test on my keyboard. I would think that you might want to do that. Now here's very important. We're going to set a network manager. a host name. And if you don't do this, you'll be in trouble. So I'm going to get ports tree, 32-bit libraries. I'm going to also auto install using ZFS. I'm going to change the swap space to 12 gigs. I gave it 6 gigabytes of RAM, so I'm going to give it 12 gigabytes of swap. We're not going to use Stripe, and we're going to select our hard drive. It's going to ask us, are we sure? I'm going to say yes. The installation is on the way. So you might see from the notes there, the next thing is it's going to ask, when this screen disappears, it's going to ask us for a root password. Okay. Give it a password, retype my password, and we're going to set up an internet connection. And yes, we're going to use DHCP. I'm not going to use a IPv6 North America, both North and South, United States of America, Eastern or Central, most areas. This is funny. I want to set the time, but it won't let me. And then we're going to get mouse D, NT update, NTPD, SSHD. I'm not going to select any of those hardening there, but we're going to add a user. We'll complete this little passage here. Now you notice when it said login group, I just hit enter, and that creates a group with your username. So now I belong to a group called Dennis, and the wheel, because the next option allowed me to do that. Gives you a summary. I'm going to select yes, and then it's going to ask me, do I want another one? And I'm going to say no. Here I'm going to download the handbook. And by doing this, you go ahead and get the PKG installer that it will need. And it only takes a minute, and it's very valuable. If you download it and get it on your hard drive, even if you're not online, you can still get to it. Now it's time to exit and reboot. And do I want to go into a shell? I said no. We're going to hit reboot. Right now, we'll take the ISO out of the picture. All right, restart it. Auto boot is 10 seconds. I couldn't wait, so I hit enter. As I'm sure most of you do. Even the major sudoers, they probably have it set to -1, so they don't even see that. Okay, I'm going to log in with my username just to make sure there is a user. I'll make sure I'm online. Ping 8888. Now I'm going to change over to root user or use sudo, and we're going to do an update. FreeBSD-update fetch install. If there is an update, it will fetch it and install it. And that's it. We've done the completed installation of BSD on a hard drive. And now I'm just going to clone it, and we'll use this clone that I'm going to use for KDE. So that's it. That's the complete installation of FreeBSD. You're ready now to do a desktop. Okay, hello there. I'm Dennis. And in this video, I've installed FreeBSD, and we're going to install the gnome-desktop on top of FreeBSD. Get started here. I've got it set up in my virtual box. It's got 6 gigabytes of RAM. I've turned the video memory all the way up. I'm going to use the default VM SVGA driver. I'll give it a 62 gig hard drive. All right, we'll click start so we can get started. And we still got the 10-second delay, but I'm not going to wait. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. Now remember this is a base installation that we're booting into right now. There's nothing on the extra, not even sudo is installed. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to sign in with my username, give it my password. My first step is to ping 8.8.8.8. Make sure we're online. We are. I'm going to Control C to interrupt that, Control L to get out of it or clear the screen. I'm going to sign in as sudo because there's no sudo right here. I'm going to sign in as root because there is no sudo. First thing I'm going to do is we're going to FreeBSD -update. We're going to fetch it if there is one, and if there is, we're going to install it. And there is none. Control L will clear the screen. pkg install. Now, xorg space gnome-desktop -desktop gnome-3 nano, in case you just want nano, and drm-kmod. And check, is there anything else that I determined that needed to have? Answer is that is no. So we'll hit enter. All spelled right. Now this will be 3 gigs of installation. KDE Plasma was 6 gigs. This GNOME is 3 gigs. XFCE was, I want to say, I'll have to go back and look, but it was maybe 2.5 gigs, something like that. It wasn't much. And Mate was fairly good size. If I remember right, it was close to 6 gigs. But we're getting everything. If it's available in Gnome3, that's what we're going to get. So this is going to take a minute. It's not even 100 out of 610 to go yet. I'm going to pause the video and I'll be back when it's finished. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and come back. It's extracting and installing. It's got about 200 more packages to go. Let's go back to their website real quick here. If you go to FreeBSD.org and search their handbook, you'll find chapter 5 is X Windows system, and it tells you synopsis, the terminology that's used, installing xorg, configuring xorg, using fonts in xorg, and the X display manager and desktop environments. Click on that or scroll down, either way. Here's the instructions for the gnome-desktop, which is what we're fixing to do. Minimize this, see where we're at. Pretty close. Let me go ahead and get back in there and get ready to do our next step here. We're going to edit our Etsy rc.conf file. Okay. And it tells you about your drivers. About third way up there, it says for AMD GPU drivers, KLD, AMD GPU. And for me, the Intel is going to be i9-15KMS. So let me close it or clear that screen. Now let's EE or edit our Etsy rc.conf. Get that down to the bottom. Well, go ahead and put me a line across there, as is my habit now, and just so I'll know where I've put my entries. Gnome enable equals yes. dbus _ enable equals yes. And make sure all those yeses are caps too. The hauled service, hauled _ enable equals capital double quotes, capital yes, end quote, hauled enable. Okay, GDM enable equals yes. GDM is the GNOME display manager that comes in by default. And here we're going to put in that video driver that you just saw listed there equals i915 KMS end quote. KLD list i915 KMS. Okay, so I'm in the editor, easy editor, so all that's spelt right. Hit escape, leave the editor, and save the changes. Control L will clear that screen. Now we're going to edit our Etsy FS tab. And I'm going to try to get to the bottom down there, or not to the bottom, but just below this line. And here we're going to add proc. And we're going to tab a couple times and say /proc /proc. Tab one time and say proc fs tab rw tab 0 tab 0. Now they don't have to be in line like this, but it just looks neater. Proc /proc fs rw 00, and then the editor, hit escape. We're going to leave the editor but save the changes. Control L. Now we're going to edit our period X in it rc. Hit enter. Yep. You go exec gnome-session -session. Make sure that's spelled right. In the editor, hit escape. Gonna leave the editor and save the changes. Control L will clear the screen. Now we're gonna edit the boot loader.conf period.conf. And I'm gonna hit enter and create a space up there, and I'm gonna enter this kern.vty equals VT. Kern.vty not dash equals. And see, this is very important. You need to double check before you hit get out of here. That would have messed me up. Ask me how I know. Alright, so we're going to increase the time, the delay in the boot up, and we're going to enter auto boot underscore delay equals, and I'm going to put 5, but you can put -1 if you never want to see it. Then I got to put that in double quotes. Alright, I believe all that's correct. I'm going to hit escape. Leave the editor and save the changes. Now, I think we can reboot. And if all goes well, we're going to boot into the GNOME or the actually GDM desktop manager. And then we will boot into GNOME. So far, so good. See if we got the 5-second delay. We do. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter anyway, because I'm so patient. So I was checking all the USBs, see if there was anything in one of them. If it was going to mount it. No core dumps found. Setting the date via the network time protocol. This should disappear fairly quick. And I'm going to left click on my name or your username, but see this cog down here. If I go to classic, all I'll get is the GNOME desktop with nothing. No way of getting out of it. So make sure that it's GNOME this selected, and give it your password. And hit enter. And with any luck, we got GDM or GNOME desktop. Looks like we do. And make that a little bigger for now. All right, there we go. Activities. I'm going to go type in terminal. Hit enter. Actually, I'm going to close that out. Go back here. type in terminal. I'm going to right click on it and put it in my favorites. Close out all that. It should be right here. There we go. Okay, so remember, we do not have sudo installed, so you're going to have to sign in as root. All right, now we're going to say FreeBSD-update fetch install. And there shouldn't be anything to do, and there's not. So we're going to pkg install, and we're going to need this for our video. Let me find it right here. xf86-video-vmware. It looks right. Hit enter. Be ready to hit Y. Continue with the Y. And there we go. Now I'm going to have to log out. Let me control D twice. I'm going to hit the power button up here, and I'm going to say power off, but then I'm going to say log out. Log out. Sign back in. Oop, that didn't work. Okay. Get out of that screen for just a second here. And we're going to control C to get out of that view. Go to activities. We'll type in display. We're going to select different resolution. 400. Go. That'll work. Apply. Keep changes. Say OK. Slide the screen over. And there we go. Now, gnome-tweaks is already installed for us. Like I said before about BSD, it seems that when you install a program like Network Manager, before I had to install Network Manager and the applet separate. Well, here, if you install Network MGR or Manager, you get all of that in one package. And it seems to be that way a lot of times here. So let's see what we got real quick. Just go to Applications. Boy. Man, 3 pages of them. And I hadn't installed anything. So we got some games, character map, calendar, Brasero for burning CDs, clocks for setting your time, configuration editor, extensions, all kind of stuff. And I think that's going to do it for this video. I don't know enough about GNOME. I lived in it for a little while just to experience it, but I was grateful to get away from it. Some people love it. So here with GNOME, which is known to be have heavy resource usage, it's doing better than Mate and Plasma. It's 782. Not as good as XFCE, but it's good. That's real good for GNOME, as I understand it. All right. What else can we do? What else can we see? What else would you be interested in seeing? Go to that last page. Xterm, the web. Let's see. I think we do have a web browser by default. Let's say web and see what comes up. Click on that. And we do. This will be, it's called web. Get on web. So, very nice. Very nice. Control-Alt-T will not get me a terminal, but it will do nothing. So there we go. That's FreeBSD. I don't know. I mean, that's Gnome3 desktop, fully installed and ready to work on BSD. And stuff seems to work. Not real crazy. That one's okay, I guess, because of the water in it. And I'm pretty sure all this came in because of the gnome-tweaks. So, you're a GNOME person? There you go. There's your GNOME desktop sitting on top of FreeBSD that you can do anything that you wanted to do. Let's see, does GNOME come in with any kind of software? Does not. Or not that way anyway. Let's see. Packages. I don't even know what to look for, so probably not. But you can always install Octo package, which is a graphical package manager. So you'd have to sign in as root. And PKG, we'll just do a search for Octo PKG. OKG, okay. That's almost an OG moment. Alright, so it's a graphical front end to the FreeBSD package ng package manager. So it's available. And so if you need a graphical package manager, that's the way to get it. Always forget I'm in root. Okay, well, I'm going to close out of this video. Like I said, this is GNOME. And if you like GNOME, now you're free to run it on BSD. Alright, y'all have a good day. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out. Bye.